up, and many people pointing the finger of blame at President Donald Trump. We'll bring you all developments, of course, as they happen. Next, Yemen, where the exact terms of a prisoner swap between the country's warring parties are set to be agreed in the coming days, that as part of a diplomatic push to end the conflict. A key site is Hodeidah on the Red Sea, where the UN's attempting to implement a withdrawal of government and rebel forces. In our latest exclusive report from Yemen, our reporters Amar Al-Amidawi and Cyril Payam follow the life of one family in Hodeidah.
On the streets of Hodeidah, the sound of Houthi war propaganda is never fun. It's something that 21-year-old Abdullah has grown used to hearing. As the oldest of 6 siblings and the only male member of the family, it's up to him to make sure there's food on the table.
I'm always a bit scared when I'm in the streets.
Over the last few weeks, a ceasefire negotiated by the United Nations has meant that little by little, people are venturing back outside.
The problem is that everything's become unaffordable. We spend everything we have here.
I come, but my life is in the hands of God. The battle for Hodeidah began last June, leaving hundreds dead. 500,000 people suddenly found their daily lives punctuated by the sporadic sound of bombs and artillery shells. Abdullah's family came here 1 year ago in search of safety, having fled fighting in the south of the country.
It's thanks to God that we have such a devoted son who supports us.
It's a sacrifice, but I have to support my family. I have to balance studying with providing for my loved ones. It's my duty. I'm all they have.
The 6 women in the family don't dare to go out. They've been holed up here for the last 6 months.
Before the war, we had our own house in the south. My brothers were never far away. They were able to come and help me. Here we're like prisoners. We're all alone. The worst is a bombing. The noise is terrible. It scares me. We're underneath them and there's nothing we can do. When I'm alone trying to help my mother, I'm scared of dying. If we ever die, I hope we all die at the same time.
When we arrived here, we hoped we'd find peace after the fighting forced us to flee our home. But it's as if the war's caught up with us. We've swapped one war for another.
The question now is how long Abdullah, his sisters and his mother will have to wait before peace finally returns to Yemen.
Amar Al-Amidawi and Cyril Payam, our reporters there in Hodeidah in Yemen, at the heart of the civil war that, of course, is tearing lives apart. And we'll keep you across all developments here on France 24. Next, the French car maker Renault has named 2 experienced auto executives to replace the arrested boss, Carlos Ghosn, this Thursday, signalling the start of perhaps a new era for the manufacturer and its vital but strained alliance with Nissan and Mitsubishi. Ghosn remains in jail in Japan on charges of financial irregularities.
Renault closes a chapter. Carlos Ghosn, its longtime chief executive and chairman, is gone. To replace him, the car maker split those responsibilities between 2 men. Thierry Bolloré, the new chief executive, Ghosn's designated successor, a man who has worked in Asia for years. And Jean-Dominique Sénard, the new chairman, who headed until recently tire maker Michelin.
It is important today to re-establish a form of calmness after the particularly extraordinary events that we've just experienced. There will also be a second essential task, which will be to engage myself quickly in the ongoing talks with the alliance, with our partners from Nissan and Mitsubishi.
Their common goal, saving the alliance with Nissan and Mitsubishi, something that's also crucial for the French government, which holds a 15% stake in Renault.
Our main objective is to preserve the alliance between Renault and Nissan, make it stronger, and allow Renault to function properly.
Renault took a stake in Nissan in 1999 when the Japanese car maker was on the brink of bankruptcy. Their alliance allows them to save some 5.5 billion euros per year through their common platforms, purchasing and development. But their partnership is not an equal one. Renault holds 43% of Nissan, which enables it to vote on board decisions, while Nissan holds just 15% of Renault. The distribution was decided when Nissan was weaker than Renault, but the Japanese car maker has turned around its situation, producing more than the French brand. And its leaders want to review the deal.
Rescuers have ended their search this Thursday for the private plane carrying Premier League soccer player Emiliano Sala. It disappeared over the English Channel 3 days ago. Police and Coast Guard say there's little chance anyone on board the aircraft has survived. Sala, Cardiff City's new signing, and pilot David Ibbotson have been missing since Monday night. Rescuers have scoured around 1,700 square miles, but have found no trace of the aircraft or those on board. Salah had been saying goodbye to his former teammates at FC Nantes before taking that private flight from Nantes to Cardiff, which fell off the radar near the Channel Islands. That's it for now. Short break, then it's our Eye on Africa. Stay with us.
France 24 es rigurosidad, precisión y responsabilidad. Somos una familia comprometida con el periodismo y la verdad.
C'est une des seules chaînes d'infos où on nous laisse jouer en plateau avec des Legos, avec des robots, avec tout un tas d'objets.
We take a return ticket to revisit some of the key people and places of the last 50 years of world television news.
على فرانس 24 يمكننا أن نحاور أصحاب القرار من العالم في كل الميادين ولدينا المساحة لكشف ثنايا مسيرتهم.
Aquí en France 24 tenemos a varias personas de distintos países, algo que es un reflejo de cómo es Latinoamérica, con culturas muy distintas. Y allí es muy bonito encontrar que en el deporte todos tenemos algo en común.
Les femmes, elles sont souvent victimes de l'actualité internationale, mais ce sont aussi des actrices majeures de la géopolitique. Et d'ailleurs, on en parle en France 24.
A program about women who are reshaping our world. We meet those who seek equality, be it in the boardroom or at the village well. The 51% brings you stories from across the globe about the women who are challenging the way we think.
The 51%, presented by Annette Young on France 24 and France24.com.
Hello and welcome to Eye on Africa, France 24's program focused on the continent. I'm Charlie James, and here's what's ahead. Felix Tshisekedi sworn in as president of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The unlikely leader called for national reconciliation as doubts linger over the election's credibility. Nigeria's top female presidential candidate quits the race. Bring Back Our Girls leader, Obe Ezekwesili, pledging to help form an opposition alternative to the country's main parties. And we take you to a school in Ivory Coast, keeping the Comien tradition alive. These female healers play an integral role in local society, but one increasingly under threat from modernity. A historic day in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The nation has completed its first peaceful transfer of power in its 59 years of independence. Opposition leader Felix Tshisekedi took the oath of office Thursday, briefly falling ill during his inaugural address. He explained he was exhausted by the election and overcome by the emotion of the moment. Now, doubts about the legitimacy of Tshisekedi's win do remain, but still, Joseph Kabila handing the presidency over to his successor is significant. Here's Tshisekedi's inaugural message.
The Democratic Republic of Congo that we will build will not be a country of division, of hate, or of tribalism.
Harrington was at Tshisekedi's inauguration. She sent us this report with more on the ceremony and what the early days of his presidency are likely to hold.
Thousands of Felix Tshisekedi's supporters waited for hours to see the new president being sworn in at the Palais des Nations in Kinshasa. It was a long and hot day here, something which may have contributed to the president's brief dizzy spell during the ceremony. But he recovered and he delivered a speech in which he promised national unity, peace and stability, and to raise the standard of living. But this still remains a highly controversial election, with many in the international community slow to recognize the result, and the losing candidate, Martin Fayulu, still claiming the election was rigged. We're hearing that 17 heads of state were invited to the ceremony. Out of those, only Uhuru Kenyatta, president of Kenya, turned up. The African Union released a statement acknowledging the result of the election, but without openly endorsing it. And Felix Tshisekedi lacks a parliamentary majority, meaning he's going to have to work with many allies of the former president, Joseph Kabila. One of his first steps will be to appoint a new prime minister, and that appointment will be very closely watched, along with his first legislative moves, as he now has to appease not only the doubts of Martin Fayulu's supporters, but also those of the international community.
It was an unexpected and, as Grania just said, controversial win, but Tshisekedi is now the leader of Africa's second largest nation. In this report, Majulian tells us more about the reaction to his victory and the new president's political heritage.
Supporters of Felix Tshisekedi on the night the provisional results were announced, overcome with joy as the Electoral Commission proclaimed their candidate's victory. His very first words were for the incumbent president.
I know that for many of us it is difficult to accept, but I say it with sincerity. I pay homage to President Joseph Kabila.
Thanking those in power. Quite a U-turn for the son of Etienne Tshisekedi, a revered politician who made a name for himself by standing up to autocratic leader Joseph Mobutu in the 1980s and refusing compromise ever since. His son, Felix, is more conciliatory. He grew as a politician in his father's shadow and only became the leader of Etienne Tshisekedi's party, the UDPS, after his father passed away in 2017. He says he would never try to live up to Etienne's myth. Felix Tshisekedi's opponents claim he didn't win the popular vote, but that he made a deal with the incumbent party to rig the election and secure the top seat.
Wake up! Rise, sons of Congo, be brave!
The African Union also cast doubt on the credibility of the election, suggesting Felix Tshisekedi will have work to do to